Today on Here for the Right Reasons, Gabby and Rachel open up to Us Weekly about that awkward group date.
So, I mean, of course, you can look at it from a million different viewpoints, but in the moment, that's what I felt. And they really did step it up after that. So I'm really happy that we had the conversation.
Plus, Maddie Prewett is engaged and Rachel Lindsay reveals why she keeps her relationship with Brian under wraps. Jordan Rogers gives us BTS on The Bachelorette. Blac Moynes sparks dating rumors, and Thurston joins Raya.
Have you guys heard of the dating app Raya? It's supposed to be like an elite dating app that you like apply to and get approved for and blah, blah, blah.
We've got that plus so much more in today's Here for the Right Reasons. Hey guys, Christina Garibaldi here with Us Weekly Deputy Editor Sarah Heron. Sarah, I think we're week 4 and I'm loving this season, and I know a lot of our viewers are loving it too.
I'm totally into this season. We were just saying before, I think it's pacing so well. Going back and forth even between the one-on-one dates makes it like so much more interesting versus sometimes they got a little slow.
Right.
We have a lot to talk about with Rachel and how all that went down, but obviously there was a bunch of news and some stuff we got to clean up from last week. So I assume we should start there.
We should start there, but I want to give a shout out to some of the people that had a lot of comments from last week's show, and still everybody's talking about Nate and Michelle.
We're never going to stop talking about Nate and Michelle. Tony Brooks said, why is it a bad thing for Nate to move? What should he do? I think it's okay for him to live his life. Most of these relationships break up and life goes on. They will be fine.
Agree, but we made the point that it seemed like the move was in the works before the breakup happened, because it all happened very quickly. That was the take that we had on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he can move, live his life, do him, but suspect. Ben says what we just said before. I think this is one of the best Bachelorette seasons in years. We have to agree. Like we said, the pacing feels good. It's nice that they have each other to kind of bounce off of. I like it a lot. We're going to, of course, dive into this week's episode and recap it all. And, and Sarah sat down with Gabby and Rachel. So excited to get to that. But before we do that, let's get into the news and kick it off with Rachel Lindsay, because she revealed why she keeps her relationship with Brian private. We never see them really on social media, and she kind of cleared it up, saying she understands the curiosity about their romance, but said our contractual public story ended on August 7th, 2017. At that point, we decided we wanted to control the future of our relationship. She explained up until that point, the confines of our relationship were determined for us. Now we were free, and we jointly decided to pull away from the public eye to build a strong, solid foundation, and we successfully did that. So it is interesting to me that people want to define the success and happiness of our relationship by the number of social media posts, comments, likes, and stories we post. She argued that leaving her personal life off social media helps her and Brian stay true to who they are as a couple and avoid the trap of only sharing the positives with fans. I like this. I mean, it seems like they really, after The Bachelorette, did what successful Bachelor Nation couples do and focus on themselves, focus on the relationship, and build that strong foundation.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we know that the nature of Bachelor Nation is reading into every post, lack of posts. So I think it makes sense that she addressed this. I also know, to play devil's advocate, it's like, is drawing attention to the fact that you're not drawing attention to something just simply drawing attention to it? I think Rachel Lindsay is always, she obviously wrote a book, she has a blog, she works for Extra, she's very much aware of how media works, and she's smart. And I think everything she's saying makes sense, but sometimes I'm just like, is the lack of addressing something just simply another way of addressing it? And why are we calling it something else?
You make a really good point. Like, if you just let it be, nobody would really be raising this question, but you kind of opening up Pandora's box and talking about it. But it is kind of strange that they don't put any of each other on social media every now and then, but whatever works for them. They seem to be really happy, and
I'm happy they're still together, and I'm pretty confident that they're in it for the long haul. So that's nice. And we only want success in this franchise. So,
Yes. Speaking of other couples looking to take the next step, right?
Oh, our favorites. Maddie Prewett, obviously of Pilot Pete's season, is engaged to her boyfriend, Grant Michael Trout. She captioned a series of photos via Instagram while wearing a halter dress, while Trout wore a light blue shirt for the beachfront photo shoot in Palm Beach, Florida. Obviously, we met the Auburn alum while she was looking for love on Peter Weber's season 24. She started dating Trout in December 2021. They held off telling the public about a romance until the following April, for sometime in spring there. What do we think of Maddie Prewett getting engaged?
Happy that she got engaged. This is moving very quickly. I almost put in that caption of my favorite.
I was just looking for it.
Of when they announced their romance. I
Yes.
think that I saw when I was scrolling through like Insta stories last night. I think it was you that posted. Of course, she had like this grand photo shoot on the beach.
Listen, maybe he proposed like not in that heart-shaped candle when she was wearing literally a wedding dress on the beach and acting like she was surprised, and maybe those were like a photo shoot recreation of the moment, maybe with the hair and makeup and the lashes and the literal wedding dress, and that's fine. Everyone wants to do it differently. I get it. They've been dating for less than a year, but you know, they're confident that that's going to be her shorty for life or whatever they said about each other. But the inauthenticity of proposals sometimes just kill me. Like, I understand these photo shoots, whatever, but like, you're literally wearing a wedding dress. Like, don't even make the surprised face. Like, just smile. Like, you clearly knew this was coming.
Right. Yeah.
There's
you guys talked about it.
About this.
Planned it out. Yeah, everything was. It did. It looked like a wedding. It looked like a photo shoot for a wedding. But whatever. They're happy.
Wait,
we're happy.
6 months worth the wait. Whatever. I wish them well.
Wish them well. So funny. Well, something that raised eyebrows this past week was Blake Moynes when he visited the Caribbean with Love is Blind season 2 alum Natalie Lee. Now, the twosome fueled some dating speculation, of course, because if you're in a picture with somebody, that means you're dating. She shared a glimpse of his breakfast date with Lee. And in the video, they are heard laughing over their meal. Now, fans were quick to, like I said, romantically link the duo. But he explained that he and Natalie were on the island for a conservation project with the Sea Turtle Conservatory. Now, the news comes as Blake's ex, Katie Thurston, revealed that she has joined Raya. Take a look.
Have you guys heard of the dating app Raya? It's supposed to be like an elite dating app that you like apply to and get approved for and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I thought it was going to be like a long wait list. My friends told me it takes a long time to get approved. So I was like, I'll apply now, and in 6 months from now, I'll start dating. Well, they approved me right away. Wasn't ready, but that's fine. That's fine. They have the option of just for friends. So I clicked that. And I match with someone. And we're talking. And then I get unmatched. Just for friends.
Are we convinced that Katie had no idea what Raya was before she got accepted to this? This video bothers me.
Yeah, listen, I think Katie is just like a wild ride all the time, and I appreciate her constantly delivering content. And I think I saw her say something like, if people are going to make money off me, I'm going to make money off of me. So she like that's why she's posting, that's why she's stirring the pot. I get it. But like, a homegirl also, like, maybe we take a break from the dating. I'm not, I'm feel like I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this episode. I'm being kind of controversial, but like a lot going on there. And then the Blake and Natalie, it's just like they have the same publicist, so I guess that's why they're on this like sea turtle trip. But again, like playing into it, I guess props for you, but also like, do you want to just be known for like rumors of link through dating? I don't know.
No, it seems, I totally, but I agree. Well, I'll probably get hate for this too. That video of her just irked me. Like, and people have to wait like 6 months forever to get on this, and they accepted me right away. Like, and I just like matched with a friend. Like, I can't, like you said, cool it for a little bit, maybe take some time to yourself. And like you said, you don't want to be known for just the next guy that you're dating. I don't know. But whatever. Do you, Katie? Do you?
Totally. And again, keep the content coming because we need something to talk about. And
That's true.
I appreciate it.
That is true.
Well, speaking of giving us content, Jordan Rogers shared some sweet behind the scenes, taking a walk down memory lane, looking back at the early moments from his relationship with JoJo on The Bachelorette, including something from his hometown date. He wrote, hometown date at my high school, quick break off camera in the library. My sidekick and best producer with the clutch water and breath mints on standby. There were literally classes in session. And before this photo, we got caught walking through the quad when the bell rang for classes to change. Oh my God, imagine being at that high school. He also shared a story from the proposal. And he wrote, when my car showed up hours before sunset, I thought that meant I would go first, and there she would be breaking up with me. I was crushed and nervous and mad all at the same time, LOL. But when we made it to the beach, they held me in the car for like an hour. By the time I started to walk down the beach toward JoJo, I wasn't sure if I was first or second, so I started to get down on one knee and she stopped me. I was like, you idiot, she's breaking up with you. Duh, the sun hasn't set yet. Then when she told me she loved me, and the rest is history, needless to say, it was a roller coaster of emotions, which made it even sweeter.
I love them. They're like my favorite Bachelor Nation couple. They really
truly
are.
So perfect and like so funny. And it's everything. I want to like rewatch this season and like know what I know now, that they're going to be perfect, because I feel like I was so critical on Jordan.
Right.
And we all were. And this is just like so sweet. And I want to know all the behind the scenes stories.
Right. I mean, did we really think that she was going to pick Robbie? No.
Absolutely not. But did I think Jordan and JoJo would still be together 6 years later? Also absolutely not. So it just goes to show we pretty much know nothing, but we're experts on the topic.
We are experts. Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into our Bachelor talk. And Sarah, I know that you got the chance to catch up with Gabby and Rachel.
Yes, quick couple minutes with our Bachelorettes, very high pressure situation, but I had to ask about that group date that everyone's talking about and how Rachel perceived the group date and all that. So here's what they had to say.
Was there something that viewers maybe didn't see from the group date that maybe caused you to have a bit of a reaction and have to talk to the guys about not giving you the attention you maybe thought you deserved?
Yeah, I mean, I think what people don't necessarily see is this is really just a small highlight reel of an actual event. Me and Gabby were there both having a great time. She went on with her group date, had a great night. And this was kind of just a feeling that I felt in the privacy of my own room. I feel like I'm really in touch with my emotions. And I was a little bit upset because as well as it being Gabby's season, it's mine as well. And I did want to feel chosen by my guys. And I didn't necessarily feel like anyone was making that much of an effort. So, I mean, of course, you can look at it from a million different viewpoints, but in the moment, that's what I felt. And they really did step it up after that. So I'm really happy that we had the conversation.
Gabby, for you, did it feel like that having, Rachel's guys there or Rachel there take away from it, or does it add to it for you? On a group date?
No, not at all. Yeah, I think it added to it. I was really excited that Rachel got to be by me, and kind of, it's still pretty early on in the process of navigating, sussing out your feelings for each guy and stuff, and having Rachel there helping with that. And I think anyone in Rachel's position would have felt the same way. We're always kind of on high alert in these really sensitive situations. Also, everyone has seen both of us. I had a really, really tough week last week. So it's not even like, I don't know. It's okay to feel those things. I think people are like, oh, we don't want to see him cry and this and that, which I appreciate, but love is rough and it's hard. And this is honestly just normal, and how it goes to fall in love is sometimes you have some heartbreak. So it's not like as deep, I feel like, as everyone is making it out to be. Like, we have low moments, but we also have high ones, and we're entitled to the way that we feel.
I've seen a little bit of chatter on the use of the term Team Gabby and Team Rachel, which seems to just be distinguishing which guy, accepted your roses. Do you guys have any thoughts on that terminology? Did you feel like that, perpetuated you being pit against each other, or not so much?
I think everything that goes, like, if people are talking about pitting us against each other, it never came from the inside. Gabby and I never felt like having our boys in two separate parts of the boat pitted us against each other. We always had open communication. We always put each other first. So as far as what anyone thinks about it being a competition, it's really coming from them and not us.
Ooh, I like that. Hayden, quite frankly, insulted both of you. Not very cool. He has apologized on Instagram. Did you guys have a reaction to that? The silence.
I think there's lots of things to consider when people apologize on social media, especially, in a public way after you've been outed on TV. So I think anyone can take that however they want.
All right. Well, lots of pressure for them. It's a weird situation to be in.
It really is.
All right. Well, let's break down this episode and get right into it. And, and what was your take on that group date? I mean, do you think that Rachel overreacted? Do you think that, was this editors just kind of, creating some drama that maybe the group date was a little boring and they were like, all right, let's spin this?
I think probably all of the above. I think Rachel definitely, we're seeing this trend that every other episode, one of them feels insecure about how the other one's journey is going. And I think that's human nature. And I think that's why this is working for viewers, but not necessarily working for them. It's kind of like a social experiment. You obviously you're jealous by nature. You're watching this. I don't think it was Rachel's best moment. I don't think she meant to steal the spotlight from Gabby. Obviously, when she's doing these confessionals, talking to the producer, she doesn't know that it's going to be pieced together with a whole episode, and we didn't get to see the moment. So I don't think she was like, I'm going to make this group date about me. I also think producers invited Rachel because they probably knew she couldn't handle it. And they were like, let's watch you watch this. And they assumingly told the guys, like, don't go run up to Rachel. On the other hand, we've seen guys do crazy things that they're not supposed to do. So should they have made an effort? I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, maybe they just figured like this is not our date. We have to stay here and, watch what's going on. And I don't know. Yeah, I agree with you. I think that like it was kind of producer filled drama, and Rachel kind of maybe took things the wrong way. You have to remember they're probably like on no sleep. Their emotions are running high. She's overthinking every little thing that happens, and this is a really stressful situation. It's got to be really hard on them mentally, physically, and maybe she sees that Gabby's having more connections with other people, and she feels like she needs to be further ahead in this process. And I'm sure the constant comparisons is probably difficult. At least it would be for me.
100%. I do think that like bringing up Clayton and saying like I felt more wanted on his season was a wild choice.
Yeah.
I think it's one of the things like also maybe she just kept talking herself in circles and bringing herself like even farther down. And if like they probably could have wrapped that interview a little sooner, and she maybe would have spiraled as much. So I think that's a huge part of it. And I guess it's good she told the guys how she was feeling, but they also must just be like, okay, there's like, we don't really know the rules. But the same thing happened last week with Gabby and the football visiting the mansion.
That's true.
So I talked to Connor the cat about this on the podcast last week, and he was saying that being one of those guys, like as a contestant, like you don't want to step on anyone's toes. You don't want to be the first one to do it. Like, so that's where the guys are coming from maybe. But again, we also do see the guys like break the rules all the time. So that's true. I understand why Rachel maybe is expecting these crazy grand gestures, but I also think we need to like manage expectations a bit.
I totally agree with you, because I feel like within these two groups, besides maybe Logan, we don't really have a villain this season, so maybe the guys are like, and Hayden, but he's home with Rambo. But it just doesn't seem like you said, these guys want to step on each other's toes and want to be that guy that like breaks the rules and gets that extra time with Rachel. So maybe like everybody is just kind of on their best behavior. But yeah, that Clayton comment was, oh my God. And then they just put Rachel in these awkward situations. That date was terrible. Having her like smell their armpits, like, come on.
It really kind of feels like every other episode. It's like, okay, Gabby had a good week. Okay, time for Rachel to have a bad week. And it goes from like, I think I really think that's like the storyboard of the season. Yeah. Like this one's confident now. All right, let's drag her down. Let's make this date weird. Because even like Gabby with like the guys like playing football, I don't know, everything just felt like things she wouldn't like. Or even when they went to the stadium later that day last week, like Gabby was like, I don't care about football early in the episode. And it's like, okay, let's do more football.
Yes.
And this week was like, Rachel is feeling insecure. Okay, let's make these guys be their weirdest selves. Sex Panther, smell my armpit. Like just the vibe was so awkward. And especially when you look back at the Tina one-on-one, that was like, I mean,
she was like, this is endgame. Let's wrap this up right now.
Like literally, I think Rachel can't handle this emotionally. She should just pull a Claire. Her and Tino should run away and let Gabby finish the season. And I think everyone would be happy.
Do you see a front runner for Gabby so far? Because I still kind of don't.
I do like Jason. I thought he was sweet. I definitely don't see him winning, but I see him going far. He's one of those guys that feels like safe to keep around. And he seems like a nice, normal, mature human. They bonded about therapy. Nate, I would say, except I don't think she's going to want to be ready to be a stepmom, unfortunately. Yeah. Maybe Eric.
Right. That's true. I forgot about Eric.
I would say those are the three that we've seen her have, I guess also the one on Monday, it's like the strongest connections with. There's that guy, Johnny, who she keeps giving roses to. We haven't seen like any attention with. Maybe he'll be like a sleeper.
Maybe. I have no idea who Johnny is now that I'm thinking about it.
I feel like we barely saw any Gabby in this whole episode.
Yes, it was a lot of Rachel. But like you said, probably next week, maybe it'll be all Gabby. So who knows? And what do you think? A lot of people on social media were having issues with the Team Rachel, Team Gabby type of thing and putting the two against each other. What are your thoughts on that?
My social is Caitlin Bristow's comment on that. So I'll read that in a second. But I see both sides of it. I do think it's like does perpetuate the like the use of teams perpetuates the, you have to like one versus the other. But I genuinely kind of think it was like an innocent, like this group of guys, here's Rachel. They just said Rachel's suitors, Gabby's men. For sure. But I do think it's a delicate thing and maybe they should have thought that through, but I kind of feel like people might've been overreacting about that, but I don't know.
I agree with you. I feel like it's a little bit of you have to kind of differentiate, and how are you going to do that? I mean, one side is Rachel's side and one side is Gabby's group of guys. So I'd love to know what people think in the comments as well. I love the return of Meatball.
Casual.
casual, like he just kind of showed up. And then Logan accepting the rose. I mean, did you feel like, obviously he wants to stay on the show. Obviously this is, going to create a lot of drama for next episode, but I mean, is that a shady move? Yes, but I don't see Gabby keeping him though.
I don't either. And listen, I'm so torn on him because I feel like I would be the first one to be like, oh, like screw that guy. But I kind of feel like the genuine, like in his face, like he really doesn't know what to do. Mm-hmm. And he probably thought going to Jesse Palmer was like, okay, I did my due diligence. They're going to make sure I get my time. Yeah. And then they didn't because they canceled the cocktail party. And like, I don't blame him for wanting to stick around. Is it going to blow up in his face? 1,000%. And she probably had the foresight to be like, I'm not going to end up with either of them. Maybe I just walk away. But also, again, high pressure situation, probably telling him he's going to get his time, then he didn't. I don't know. Is Logan just like an F boy, or is he just like a victim of circumstance and doesn't understand how to like navigate the show? Because no one does. I think maybe both. I don't know if he's going to be worth Gabby saving. I don't think there's going to be a connection there. What he's feeling for Gabby probably isn't really anything because, again, they knew each other for a hot second.
Right.
And I also understand him not wanting to pile on Rachel while she's down. Like, imagine if he rejected that rose, like the spiral he would have gone to.
Yes.
I don't know, just a classic example of shady for the producers to not give him a moment with Gabby when he expressed it, probably endless behind the scenes and on camera to Jesse Palmer.
Oh, totally. I can't wait for like maybe like 10, 15 years down the line when they do like a Bachelor documentary with all the producers and they tell us all the secrets, because that's really what I want to know.
Me too. Damn.
Then we have to get to the Hayden of it all. Having not liking Rachel's response to his dog. And then, calling them bitches in the beginning of the episode. I thought Rachel handled this really well. I mean, like we said before, they are no BS this season. If if they don't like you, they're going to send you home. And that's exactly what happened with Hayden.
100%. And Hayden shouldn't be surprised. Listen, like her even giving him the rose after everything he said to Gabby was a choice. And, I said last week, I think she did that because she knew he was going to say yes and she needed a win. Trying to use Gabby's own words against her doesn't make it any better. And going to her and saying, yeah, you said you're rough around the edges. I agree. She said that about herself in a way to be like, I'm different and I hope you embrace it. And he said it is, I looked into it and I reject it. Mm-hmm. And he didn't say it with a way where he meant it in a kind term. So that was BS. And the comparing to the exes, claiming he didn't, and then rolling the tape, like, did he forget he was being filmed? And since they've been kind of breaking the wall a little bit this season, I almost wish they like played it back for him, brought it up and be like, oh, really? You didn't say that? Like, I think we should start maybe playing the tapes because we are kind of breaking the wall a little bit. And I just think is one of those guys who's full of himself and thinks he's better than everybody else. And, I don't trust anyone who brought a picture book of their dying dog, but then left them to be on this program. I just don't.
I know, right? I'd like an update about how Rambo is doing though, because I looked on his Instagram and I didn't see.
I mean, this filmed in from like March to May or no? May, yeah. So I don't know how Rambo. I don't know.
Hope he's okay. Before we get into our social spotlight, let's just take a moment for Jesse Palmer speaking French throughout this episode.
Loving Jesse Palmer.
Jesse Palmer.
He's bringing the comedy. He's doing the faces. He's not making it about him at all. I mean, even the French, like it was funny. And he's like, you notice him just enough. I'm team Jesse Palmer.
I feel like he's finally like kind of coming into his own this season and like finding his footing and how, he wants to kind of differentiate himself from Chris Harrison. I like it. I think he's doing a really good job. I definitely do. Well, let's get into our social spotlight. And mine did go to Hayden because, of course, when you act like an ass on national television, you have to apologize for it. He posted a long caption saying that what he did was absolutely unacceptable. He was disappointed in himself. He takes full responsibility for not being the man he was raised to be in those moments. He hated how the season ended, but despite everything, he is wishing Gabby and Rachel all the best and hopes that they accept his apology. I don't know about that.
Another week, another apology from Hayden. Yep. Good riddance. Glad you're off my screen. I hope you're not on my beach, but you probably will be.
Yep. What about you?
Mine goes to Caitlin Bristow. I mentioned before. I just think obviously her takes about this are super important because she's been the Bachelorette and she was one of two, as we know. And she posted, how do we feel about this? This is the Team Rachel, Team Gabby terminology. I love both of women. I don't have a team. There shouldn't be teams. There should be connections. I'm asking myself the same thing. Why are we branding it this way? I want to believe it's all worth it if they're happy. I just disagree with the journey to get there. P.S. I still love this franchise. It's a weird relationship. Always has been.
Interesting. Well, like you said before, I do kind of feel like a lot of people are reading a little bit too much into it. I mean, But I don't know. I don't feel like they really are pitting the women against. I don't know. Do you feel like they were putting the women against each other? I don't really feel that way.
I don't think
editing sometimes.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if pitting against each other is what's right or if it's just happening organically and they're definitely taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they actively are like, hey, Gabby, Rachel said this about, like, I don't think they're like manipulating them and like stirring the pot behind the scenes or like even with the editing. But I think that they are certainly excited when one is jealous of the other. Like, I think they're exploiting it, but I don't think they're creating it. I think it's like human nature.
Right. I'm reading through some of Caitlyn's comments on her post, and Blac, who was on the show, said that the wording is just terrible. Why not say Gabby's guys, Rachel's squad? I don't know how this was approved. A lot of people are saying that they hate the way the season was set up. I don't know. I mean, and then it says that screams that men are in charge. I mean, yes, I agree with those sentiments as well. I guess you can kind of see both sides.
Yeah, I mean, like I've said from the beginning, I think this is going to be horrible for Gabby and Rachel's mental health. Hopefully they end up with someone, so it's worth it. As a viewer, unfortunately, it's good TV. That's the caveat of reality TV. A lot of times it's not good for the people on it. Mm-hmm. They know that going into it that they could be editors or it's a never-ending cycle. But as a viewer, it's like, oh, I'm entertained because there's something different happening in front of me. Yeah. So you just kind of have to hope in the end that it pays off and they meet someone so it was worth any of the bumps along the way. But we won't know that.
Clayton at the beginning of last season when they announced that he was going to be the Bachelor and then read all these hate tweets about him. I mean, like, it's rough for your mental health. Everybody that we've talked to a lot of people from Bachelor Nation, and they say the same thing. It's really a whirlwind, and you got to have some thick skin, I guess, to go on the show. And
these people read those quotes though, and then still want to go on the show. So and they get a lot out of it. So it's a double-edged sword. It really is. So it's not a complicated thing, but I just think it is a complicated thing. And I think Caitlyn's response is always interesting because she also knows what it's like to see that terminology, to know what producers are saying to you, and then watching it air. Like, maybe that's a huge part of it. I don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. Well, I'd love to know what everybody thinks in the comments. So please let us know. Sarah, who's on the podcast this week?
Full recap with Zachary Reality, who has some interesting other tea about some Bachelor Nation people, and the full interview with Gabby and Rachel.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, make sure everybody check that out. Keep commenting, keep subscribing, and we will be back next week recapping the latest episode of The Bachelorette. We'll see you guys then. Bye. Hey everyone, I'm Christina Garibaldi, the host of Us Weekly Celebrity Coverage. Don't forget to hit subscribe for the latest celebrity news, tips, and video. And for much more content, make sure you head on over to usmagazine.com, the official home of Us Weekly Magazine.